All right, class. So this will be a series of videos on Aztec religion before we get to the conquest stuff. So let me start the PowerPoint. Nice little comic book pantheon of Aztec deities there. I love this picture. Something that maybe I should have said when we were focusing on the ancient Maya, but it holds true here as well. And I think through most polytheistic systems, um, I am not presenting you anywhere close to the entire pantheon, to the level of depth and complexity that actually existed in these religious systems. It is a never-ending well of depth. If you start digging into the stories and the different manifestations of the deities and the different regional variations, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean different regional variations maybe within the empire for the Aztecs. So not even like a cross-cultural kind of thing. Anyway, let's dip our toe in. that's funny. You'll see why in a minute. And know that on the exam, there will be some visual IDs where you're going to have to match the Aztec deity name to a picture of that god. And there'll be in the module, a second little mini PowerPoint that's just the potential images that you would see for the gods. All right, let's get cracking. So let's start with Tezcatlipoca. I'm disappointed because I'm gonna have to say all these names, and I don't get to hear you try them, and it's breaking my heart. So Tezcatlipoca, think of as an overarching deity, a supreme deity. Again, has many different types of things attributed to kind of his purview, but a god of like time and destiny. It is not a god that's like only in one place, and strongly associated with rulership. And the reason I was laughing about dipping your toe in, one of the stories about Tezcatlipoca is that in helping to create the earth, he used his foot to bait a crocodilian earth monster into chomping on his foot, capture him, and kind of morph the crocodiles back into the landforms. So he's often depicted with a bleeding stump for a foot, or a snake, or smoke, or different things. So kind of cool. Huitzilopochtli. That name means hummingbird on the left. Love that, hummingbird, the left one. War god, closely related to the sun, though there is a god of like the sun disk too. We won't worry about here. Huitzilopochtli plays a role in the Aztec foundation myth, right? So Huitzilopochtli told one of the leaders in a dream, "When you followed my orders and killed my nephew Copil and ripped out his heart and threw it away into the lake, the heart fell onto a stone, and from this stone outgrew a nopal cactus, and on this an eagle is now perched. There you will establish a city named Tenochtitlan." So he has that role. Huitzilopochtli is kind of like a deified hero, as opposed to sort of a pure, before earth or deity kind of person. So let's remember the Templo Mayor at Tenochtitlan, and it's always this dual temple. It had at least 7 phases. The earliest, the little teeny one, dates to 1390 AD. And remember that there's twin temples at the top, and one is devoted to Tlaloc, and one is devoted to Huitzilopochtli. I almost wonder if he gets called on the left, because if you're sitting in the temple, his temple's on the left. Anyway, so that is kind of interesting. I also want to point out that it's kind of hard to see here in the image, but there is a chalk mole associated with the sanctuary of Tlaloc, and a sacrificial, almost like a stone kind of like a beheading or heart removal stone where you would put the body across it. So interestingly, you know, a sacrificial stone associated with the war god. So maybe in our our attempt to understand what a chakmul was for, I mean, maybe that held water or something more associated with the life of Tlaloc. And remember, this is kind of a mirror of the Temple of the Feathered Serpent back at Teotihuacan. It had the feathered serpent and the war serpent. So this cycle of life and death being central in ritual, religious belief and behavior. Yes, thank you, PowerPoint. So Tlaloc, we've already looked at some depictions of Tlaloc, the rain god. We'll circle back to Huitzilopochtli, but Tlaloc, I've already showed you this image. Here's a water jar associated with Tlaloc. And then these guys, are they not the cutest things ever? I mean, they're adorable. They're adorable. That is not an opinion, that is a fact. Okay. One of the artifacts associated with a later phase of the Templo Mayor is this dedication stone. So when a new emperor would sort of take the throne, as it were, they were responsible. They were responsible for taking care of the Templo Mayor and expanding it. So in the year 8 Reed, and I'll get you in the next slide what year that is on our calendar, but you see the 8 dots, and this is the symbol for Reed. So in the year 8 Reed, a new phase by Emperor Huitzilopochtli was dedicated, and this is the monument that was put up. So you see here a page talking about that event. I love at the top the Spaniard like getting the correlation wrong. But anyway, 8 Reed correlates to 1487 AD, so well in the reign of Huitzilopochtli, and this talks about his dedication and everything. So very cool. And then there's the 8 Reed again. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll keep going with the deities as we go.